Personally, I prefer the Queen Elizabeth. Still, if he wants to rough it.
You know, I always thought they took a tramp steamer if they wanted to get away from it all. But an oil tanker.
You're not with it. This tanker has, and I quote, a frequency-modulated radio telephone which can effectively maintain communication over great distances. He'll keep in touch, never fear.
Well, well. Darling, how are you?
Hello. I could have sworn he said he needed a rest.
Some rest. No wonder he wanted to get away from it all. Could get mighty lonesome on an oil tanker.
Bye. Have a good time. Don't forget to write, if you're not too busy.
Nothing like an ocean cruise, I always say. Rest, relaxation, fresh air. He'll be a new man by the time he gets back.
Yes.
Well, shall we?
Shall we what?
The busy world of commerce awaits.
So it does. An oil tanker of all places.
Now you see it, now you don't. Now you see it, now you don't. Now you see it. Hey, boss!
Hmm?
Now you see it, now you don't. Now you see it, now you don't.
Well, you won't see me until lunch. I've got work to do.
And now you see it, now you
Please,
don't.
Chin, not now. I'm not in the mood.
Oh, great ingratitude for you, Miss Carter.
Thank you. Just what I need.
The idiots!
Lunch so soon?
Of all the ineffectual, incompetent organizations, the Dollars for Europe Development Trust takes the cake.
Something wrong?
You have a gift for understatement, Chin, even if you're only asking questions. Why don't you go conjure up some lunch?
I manipulate.
We'd better get Carlos on the radio telephone.
What now?
Yes, now.
But he left you in charge.
Yeah, that's right, so he did. Well, I guess I'll have to wait.
What's wrong?
It's the Dollars for Europe Trust Fund. They've turned it down.
Turned it down? But all they have to do is accept the money. Surely that's the easiest thing to do in the world.
I would have thought so.
I have the file here in a drawer somewhere. Here we are. Dollars for Europe Development Trust. Investing £11 million electrical scheme in Calabria. All freighting to be handled by Mercury International. That should keep us in business for the next 10 years.
If the deal goes through.
But how can it fail? The trust is a charity. They're giving them £11 million.
There's a committee of 5 in Calabria. They have to approve.
Don't tell me they're refusing a gift.
That's my guess. Apparently, Professor Hopkins of the Trust couldn't attend the meeting himself. He was taken ill. So he sent an assistant to get the committee's signatures. Some academic idiot sent me this letter this morning. D.C. Ryman. He's on his way here now.
You mean to say we're going to lose this vast commission because of this man?
That's what it looks like. According to this, he failed to get the committee in Calabria to agree. So now the Trust will withdraw the offer and move off to some other undeveloped part of the world.
So somebody else will take advantage of the money.
Iceland. And somebody else will get the commission on the freight. It won't be Mercury International. We don't deal with that part of Europe.
Oh, no more tricks today, Chin.
No tricks. Miss Lyman.
Miss Ryman?
Yes, you're Mr. Varela?
No. He's out of the country. He's gone to Mexico or New Zealand or someplace. My name is Randall. Oh, I'm acting on his behalf for Mercury International. My secretary, Miss Cotter.
You got my letter?
Yes, but I didn't expect... see, I thought that... I understand that you went to Calabria for the trust.
Yes, I tried to tie up the final details when Professor Hopkins couldn't come.
I understand. Oh, will you sit down?
Thank you. Do you realize, Mr. Randall, we're offering this whole project to them free. They pay nothing. It's a wonderful opportunity, an entire rural electrification scheme.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I do realize that.
And they're turning it down. What sort of people turn their backs on $25 million?
Are you sure that they understand the project?
I'm certain. In fact, one of the committee, Mr. Mateo, was greatly in favor of the scheme.
Oh, Mateo. I know him. He's an old friend of mine. As a matter of fact, I had a letter from him just last week, complete with a photograph of himself and his new car.
Oh, he's a very charming man, and the only one to speak up on my behalf. He put it clearly to the others, but they voted against it.
Well, I'm quite sure that it was no fault of yours.
So it doesn't really matter, Mr. Randall, about the loss of freight and commission?
Well, of course it matters. The poor people of Palabria need all the assistance that they can get. I'm quite sure that the Trust will give them the chance to change their minds.
The Trust meets in 3 days' time in Boston. They will consider several projects in different parts of Europe. If the committee in Palabria haven't approved of this scheme by then the offer will be withdrawn.
3 days. I have to work miracles. Look, could I have a look at your notes and records, Miss Ryman? It might help.
Yes, I have them right here.
I'll go through these in detail later. There's just one thing I wanted to check up on. Yes. Well, they realized that they had nothing to pay. Tell me, did you give them any idea of how much they could expect from themselves?
What do you mean?
Well, their cut, their kickback, you know.
You mean bribes?
Well, no, that's not exactly the right word. Individual percentages might be better.
Individual percentages?
You see, before he left on this trip, Mr. Varela briefed me on the whole subject. I have his notes here with amounts that officials expect. Let me see. Middle East Prime Minister, 5% of all turnover. It's not the right section. Mediterranean countries, southern sections. This is it. Officials on charitable or public committees expect at least 5%, probably more.
Mr. Randall, are you trying to tell me this committee expects some sort of percentage to go into their pocket before they agree to this wonderful gift?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Let me tell you, Mr. Randall, they've had no such offer from me. I come from New England, and we're not in the habit of giving or taking bribes.
Oh, but look, different countries have different customs. It's not dishonest in Palabria to take a bribe.
Well, I've never heard of anything so immoral.
Miss Ryman, about 1 million people stand to benefit from this trust. People living in misery and squalor. Are you going to let your standard of ethics come between them and happiness?
When you put it like that...
Look, a bribe is a tradition in that part of the world.
No, I couldn't do it. Besides, there's no allocation for bribery in my budget.
Miss Ryman, Mercury International has a lot at stake in this project. About $250,000, I'd say. I guess we can afford a few thousand. Miss Carter, book flights for myself and Chin, Palabria via Rome.
You move quickly, Mr. Randall.
Any particular flight?
The first available aircraft. But let's forget all about it for this evening. I know a wonderful little Italian restaurant. Chianti, ravioli...
7:30 this evening.
What, Miss Carter?
Your flight to Italy. 2 seats, you and Chin.
Oh, fine. 7:30? Hey, Chin!
Here I am.
Start packing.
Have packed, Mr. Lando.
On whose instructions?
Magic of the Orient, Mr. Lando.
Magic rubbish.
Lavish?
Look, Chin.
Lavish.
Your tickets, times of arrival and departure, passports. Don't forget you only have 3 days to complete the deal, otherwise it's dead.
I can give away $11 million in 3 days.
Easy. I make it vanish. Now you see it. Now you don't. Now you see it.
Chin, will you stop that? What are you doing with that bird?
What bird?
If you two would just pay attention.
I know how you do that. It's up your sleeve.
Hey, look.
I do not want to look up your sleeve. And I warn you, customs officials are very particular about importing living birds.
Customs not fine.
Mr. Randall, your money.
Oh.
Expenses for the trip, expenses for bribery and corruption.
Miss Carter, if you don't mind.
$10,000 for the chairman, $5,000 for each of the other 3 members. Nothing for Cantorici because he comes of a very proud family and would not accept a bribe.
Mr. Varela's instructions?
Of course. Seeing that you're going to be staying with your friend Mateo and probably using his big American car, your expenses will be rather low.
You're very hard, Miss Carter.
Mr. Varela's instructions.
Well, Chin, it looks as if you're going to have to pay the taxi.
With what?
This.
thank you, Miss Carter. I'd like you to cable Mateo. Get him to meet our connection with Rome in the morning.
The cable's been sent.
Oh, then fix a meeting with the committee.
Have done. It's for tomorrow.
Now, I can't think how Carlos puts up with such efficiency. I'm going to miss you, Susan.
Not in business hours.
Mr. Barella's instructions?
Could be. I'd better go and tell Chid to hurry. Bye.
How can you leave me, Rita? I am desolate in England without you.
And I am in Italy without you, but I have to go home. You know the situation.
But you cannot marry this man.
It has been arranged many, many years ago.
But you don't love him.
That doesn't bother my father. He thinks of it as a union between two ancient and honorable families.
And what about you?
Count Marco, he's pleasant and very rich.
Pleasant and rich.
Nalo, be sensible. This is really goodbye for us.
Rita, it is...
You must grow up, my darling.
Like you?
I have learned to make the best of things if one can't change them.
Will passengers please follow the green lights to exit A?
Excuse me, this is the flight to Rome, isn't it?
I hope so, yes.
You are going to Rome.
I'm changing aircraft there.
Rita, you left your handbag.
Oh, thank you. What a fool I am.
He looks very unhappy.
We both are.
Your husband?
Yes. No, my fiancé.
Well, I thought that you were going to miss the plane.
Paying on hand luggage.
And what have you got there, as if I didn't know? I thought I told you to leave that box of tricks at home.
You selfish, Mr. Landau. You got amusement for journey.
Amusement? Really, Chin, you know I only have eyes for Susie Carter.
Mateo, good to see you. It is always good to see you, Pete. But perhaps on this occasion.
I get the luggage, Mr. Landau.
Fine. You were saying on this occasion?
There's something I must tell you. Perhaps it's better to wait.
So, you're Mr. William Randall.
That's right. Now, please, Mr. Sousa.
And I know exactly why you're here. You come from Mercury International about this trust offer.
Well, I'm not surprised that you've heard about it. After all, a project this important.
Important or rubbish. The whole thing is a put-up job to try and disrupt the economy of this district. Mr. Randall, the sooner that you get out of here, the better.
Indeed.
Let me warn you. Do not stay. You're welcome.
Nice meeting you, Mr. Sousa.
Hey, come along, Bill.
Is this your car?
Do not ask questions.
Let's hurry.
I don't want more trouble from Sousa.
No loan for me. I take taxi, huh?
15 Garibaldi Street.
Garibaldi Street? That part of town?
No discussion in public.
Well, you have come down in the world.
But only temporarily. In 10 days, I go back to my own villa and I drive again in my own car. In the meantime, I suppose you could borrow it.
Nice. But why the deception?
Well, listen, Bill. Last month, there was a great scandal in the national press. Accusations of corrupt officials in our district. All lies, of course. But you know what? The people of the North, they like to believe the worst of us. The ministry sent an inspector, Signor Dali. He stays 10 more days, asking questions, watching people, turning over stones. That's very unpleasant. He's trying to prove somebody in our town is taking bribes. So, of course, we have to be very careful. I have to live in his little flat, and I have to drive that little car until he goes. Otherwise, he will ask where I get the money to live in my usual luxury. And I will have no answer, except, of course...
I think that I see the light.
So, when Miss Ryman came to give us all that money, our committee decided not to take it. Not yet. Not until the government inspector has finished his investigations and gone home. Then, of course, we will gladly accept the trust and safely take our own small cuts.
In 10 days from now?
Yes. It's not long to wait.
It's just too long. The deal closes in 2 days' time.
But, Bill, what else can we do? No one would risk accepting anything that looked like a bribe until this man has gone.
I must get a unanimous vote from your committee before the time limit's up.
It is not possible.
Well, that's the way the trust is set up. Acceptance must be unanimous. Is there a committee meeting today?
At the General's house. They're all expecting you.
Thank you, Mr. Lando.
Bill.
Oh, shit! Oh, what happened to your face?
2 men hit it.
Why?
Not a popular visitor. With each blow, they say, get out, go home.
Well, come and sit down.
Then when they let me go, they say, show Mr. Landau what has started.
Here, take this.
Your friend Sousa?
I'm afraid so. He's a landowner with a wine factory. Very ruthless. He's angry about the trust. He says that if the laborers start to get living wages from rural electrification, he will also have to pay living wages. And that is something he does not want.
He's not influencing the committee, is he?
No. The committee is influenced only by their cut. If that were possible, everything would be in your favor, and Mr. Sousa could protest as much as he wants.
If he's got any more protests to make, let him make them to me personally.
Forget him, Bill. You must meet the committee.
At the General's house?
Yes, General Calibanti is our chairman.
Chairman? Well, according to my information, he expects a kickback of $10,000.
Yes. But Bill, in these circumstances, you cannot offer.
I get the message. You all right?
All right now, boss.
Nevertheless, press on. Lead the way.
If we are agreed, it would seem to me that the best approach to our problem...
Gentlemen, Mr. Randall, Mr. Mateo.
Welcome, Mr. Randall. I am General Calibanti.
How do you do?
We have heard all about you, and we are honored.
No.
May I introduce the members of our committee? This is the Count Ricci, an ancient family in this part of the world.
How do you do?
I'm charmed to make your acquaintance.
This is Signor Bilbo. How do you do? And this is Signor Torta. I almost said Mr. Torta because he has spent so much of his life in America.
Glad to know you, Randall.
How do you do? Well, gentlemen, it's very good of you to meet me. I've been given a complete briefing on this matter by Mr. Carlos Varela. I think that I understand the situation. I'm quite sure that you would be prepared to accept this generous offer by the trust, if only you were reassured
Mr. Randall, you have not yet met Signor Dali. Signor Dali is visiting us from the ministry. He is engaged on a special investigation into bribery and corruption.
Oh. Well, in that case, I'm very glad to meet you, Signor Dali.
Pleased to meet you.
Well, gentlemen, to resume our business.
Yes, Mr. Randall.
To resume our business, I understand that your committee has refused the offer.
True. 4 of us were against. Only your friend Mateo voted in favor. You see, Mr. Randall, a vast project like this requires thought and time. Time for discussion.
Well, time is the one thing we haven't got. This project is only on offer from the trust for 2 more days.
2 days? That's not very long.
Then I guess we can kiss the whole project goodbye.
This is nonsense. Why should we have to kiss it goodbye just because...
Gentlemen, please. Let us have no disputing before our guest.
Well, if we've only got 2 days, we'll have to work quickly. Could we have another meeting tomorrow?
I do not see what you expect to achieve by then.
Now, Mr. Randall is right. Another meeting tomorrow might be of advantage to all of us. But meanwhile, my daughter is arriving today from Roma, so if you will excuse me. Bilbo, I can give you a lift.
Thank you. I should be most grateful. Well, good day, Mr. Randall.
Well, I don't want to be the odd man out.
I might fall for Mr. Randall's persuasive charm.
I'll see you to your car then. Matteo, you might show Mr. Randall and Signor Dali to my study. A little drink, perhaps.
Well, that'd be more than welcome. Hey, look at this.
What about it?
It's a Jan Stylo.
Jan Stylo? Whoever is he?
Well, he's a brilliant young artist. He's just becoming fashionable. Carlos Varela's buying his pictures as fast as he can. They're going to be worth a fortune. Of course, he's better known at the moment in the States than he is in Europe. I wonder if the general knows what a gold mine he's got here.
As I remember, he doesn't much like it.
You know, I think I could make the most wonderful bargain here. Do you think he'd be willing to sell?
He might.
Look, Medea, would you do me a great favor? Would you ask him?
Of course.
Now, what do you think of the picture, Signor Dali?
Oh, I'm no expert.
I trust that you won't tell the general its true value.
How can I, when I don't know it myself?
You're very understanding.
This is a very unusual request, Mr. Randall.
Well, I hope you won't be offended. It's just that I'm very interested in this particular type of art, and I wondered if you would consider selling.
You think it is worth buying, Mr. Randall?
Well, look, I won't beat about the bush, General. I'm prepared to make you an offer for this painting. What do you say to $10,000?
$10,000?
But not a penny more.
For my picture?
For your picture.
Very well. Done.
I'm delighted, General. And in case you should change your mind, I'd like to pay you for it now. $10,000.
You had it ready?
Oh, we at Mercury International are prepared for anything. Thank you, General. I'll send for the picture as soon as it's convenient for you.
Well, how about the drink?
Well, I've already stayed longer than I intended, so if you would excuse me.
Certainly. He must be mad. It is a poor painting.
Allow me to inform you, General, that Mr. Randall thinks he's got the best of a bargain. He believes this paint to be increasing in popularity.
Well, a deal is a deal. It was all above board. There can be no going back. Matteo, I have been reconsidering this electrical scheme. It has certain points in its favor. I cannot promise yet that I, too, will vote for it. But I am much more sympathetic. Yes, very much more.
I hear you've had some success today, Mr. Randall.
News travels fast. But then what's a couple of votes, huh? As you say. What indeed?
The committee has to be unanimous, even I know that.
Well, there's still time. Nearly 2 days. But a lot can happen in 2 days, can't it? Oh, yes, a lot can happen.
You don't frighten easily.
You never made a bigger mistake in your life, Mr. Sousa. I'm not a brave man. Just rather busy.
Thank you, senor. That will be all. Please.
Goodbye, Count de Ricci.
Goodbye. So you were not in Rome. You were in London. Doing what?
Don't worry, Father. That little man will keep his mouth shut for a prize.
He will, yes. But you heard him say Mr. Randall saw you at the airport as well. And he's in our town at this very moment.
What difference does it make? I don't have to meet the man. We won't see each other.
You're sure to. There is a reception for Signor Dali at the General's this evening. Randall will be there.
Then I won't. It's as simple as that.
But you must. We're expected. Count Marco will be in our party.
Tell him I'm not well.
I think I may have to do that. If Count Marco found out where you had been and what you had been doing...
Doing nothing.
You were seen, not only by this little man, but by Randall as well.
He saw me saying goodbye to Nalo.
And how did you say goodbye?
He kissed me. How else do you say goodbye?
Will you never remember that as a member of this
Oh,
family...
Father, please!
Then perhaps you will remind yourself that very soon you are to be the Countess Marco di Silva. If there is any breath of suspicion that reaches...
Sir, Count Marco.
Marco! How lovely to see you.
How do you do?
Marco, my dear boy.
Please excuse me dropping in like this, but I wanted to make sure about the arrangements for the reception this evening. I understand we are all invited to the General's to meet this insufferable fellow, Dali.
As a matter of fact...
Excuse me, sir. Mr. Randall to see you.
Oh, I'm very anxious to meet Mr. Randall.
Show him in.
Mr. Randall,
Mr. Randall, how kind of you to call. May I introduce you to my daughter?
I'm delighted to make your acquaintance, Signorina de Ricci.
How do you do, Mr. Randall?
And this is Count Marco de Silva.
My fiancé.
Oh, your fiancé. How do you do?
And I'm very pleased to meet you, Mr. Randall.
Well, I hope that I'm not interrupting.
Oh, not at all. Rita tells me she thinks you have met somewhere before.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
Are you quite sure? She says it was quite recently.
Oh, I'm quite sure that if I'd met Signorina de Ricci at any time in my life, I would have remembered.
Thank you.
You are right, Mr. Randall. I confess my future wife is hard to forget.
But I came here to talk business, and this obviously isn't the time.
You wish to discuss the offer made by the trust?
Yes, I'd like to point out some of its advantages to the poorer people in your district.
I have been thinking along similar lines myself, Mr. Randall. But I promise you, I keep an open mind.
Good. Well, perhaps we could have a chat at the reception tonight.
By all means.
Let me show you out, Mr. Randall. I'm going myself. Goodbye, Rita.
Marco, darling.
Goodbye.
Thank you, Marco. You must have made a mistake.
I made no mistake. He knows exactly who I am.
He didn't give the slightest indication.
Of course not. Very tactful, I thought. He knew very well I was in London and how much this would mean to you. Oh, poor father. Don't you see how much you are in this man's debt?
I think I do.
I'm afraid that Mr. Matteo isn't at home.
I've come to see you.
Well, please come in. What about your friends?
They can wait outside. For the time being.
I must ask you to come to the point quickly, Mr. Sousa. I've got to attend a reception tonight at the General's.
I know all about that. I'm going myself.
Oh, how nice. We'll meet again later.
I hope not.
Indeed.
I suggest you don't go, Mr. Randall.
But that would be most impolite. I've already accepted.
Let me tell them that you're not well.
But I'm feeling just fine.
Perhaps you'd like me to tell them that you've had a bad accident, huh?
Accidents can be unpredictable. Sometimes a lot of people get hurt.
Mr. Randall, within a very short time, you've managed to win over 3 of our committee.
Well, there's nothing definite. No one can be sure how the General and de Ricci will vote.
The fact is that you've shaken them, and that leaves only 2, Bilbo and Totter. And the rate at which you're going, you will finish the whole business by the end of this evening, huh?
Oh, that's very encouraging, Mr. Sousa, but I don't think it's likely.
That's not a risk I can afford to take.
Signor Dali will be there. He watches all of us like a hawk. Besides, I don't see what you can do about it.
No?
You all right, Bill? Yes, of course. Mr. Sousa was just leaving. That is correct, isn't it, Mr. Sousa? After all, the reception's at 8:30. I'm quite sure that you want to wash and change.
Move over.
I always prefer to drive.
Be quick.
If you insist. Have we met?
The king.
One of Mr. Sousa's friends, I presume. You're not going to drive holding that gun, are you?
I am.
How very dangerous.
I told you to look out for anything. This man looks for trouble. I look out for him next time.
Get him to the farm, quick. Luigi's waiting.
No, thank you.
You look worried, Mr. Chin.
Good evening, Senorina. It is Mr. Randall. He should be here now.
Isn't he?
Hello, Mr. Chin. Has anything gone wrong?
It seems Mr. Randall is not here.
I look for him everywhere. Cannot find. He said, meet me at General's. No sign.
Let's go and find him. I owe him a word of thanks.
Well, please be discreet, Rita.
I will see you later, Marco.
Hello, Matteo. Signor Matteo, you just alive?
Yes.
Come from apartment?
Yes.
Did you bring Mr. Randall?
Bill, he left half an hour ago. He should be here.
You said it. Should be.
Matteo, do you think something has happened to him?
Just fall out, mister. It'll save a lot of trouble.
Excuse me.
Senior Chin, so glad to see you. Any member of Mercury International is always welcome. A most excellent firm.
Oh, I quite agree with you. I've made inquiries. In my position, I must do. I've checked bank accounts, trading credits. Mercury International are above reproach. Nevertheless, I must stay on the alert. You see, negotiations are always better when we are certain that everything's above board. Oh, excuse me.
I don't trust that man.
He is only doing his job.
I must apologize very much, sir, for Mr. Randall so late. He very much work, I think.
That's all right, Senior Chin. Mr. Randall will turn up later on, I am certain.
I hope you light, sir.
Let's go and look in the other room, Chin.
You know, when the general gives a party, he always gives a very good one.
Hello there. Where's your boss?
Not here by look of things.
I bet he's got cold feet.
I don't think Mr. Randall is the type to get cold feet.
No? I bet he knows he's not going to push this deal through. How about it, Bilbo? I lay you 5-1 this guy Randall don't turn up.
Me, I never bet. Never.
You like to bet?
I like bet, but not against certainty.
Luigi! Come on, wake up. Luigi!
Is that you, Pero?
Lend a hand. Take him inside. And we don't let him out of our sight for 2 days.
Where Mr. Randall?
You guess.
If anything happened to him,
He'll be all right in a couple of days.
Couple of days?
That's the deadline. After that, it does not matter what he does. The offer will be withdrawn before he has time to work on Bilbo and Torta.
I see. You keep Mr. Randall out of way until too late to influence committee, huh?
That makes sense, doesn't it? Don't worry.
I hope you haven't been having any trouble with Susan. He's a very unpleasant man, without any manners, quite unscrupulous.
That all right, Senor Delici. Sousa think he win, but Mercury International never say die. But, sir, could use a little sympathy.
By all means.
General, thank you very much for a most charming reception. But I think it's rather strange that Mr. Randall himself could not be here.
You light, sir. Very strange. Bad mark for Mercury International. Feel much shame. Would be proud to repay by giving unworthy entertainment in return.
By all means, Senior Chin.
You know, in Mr. Chin's part of the world, it is customary to recognize hospitality by contributing to the entertainment. A singer would sing, a musician would play, and a dancer would dance.
Now, what does Mr. Chin do, dance or sing?
I don't dance and I don't sing. But 1 or 2 small items of Eastern magic might be to your liking.
Please.
I think Mr. Chin is going to make me disappear.
Well, that might not be such a bad idea.
Ladies and gentlemen, gather round, please. Everybody. Now, small item like this. Thank you, thank you. And like this. Salute! Thank you, thank you. A small item like this, not extraordinary. For my next display of magic, I need a member of audience.
I'll help.
This must be lady or gentleman above suspicion. No, Mr. Sousa, I make a selection. Ah, this gentleman look dignified and worthy. You, senor?
Go on, Bilbo. What do I have to do?
You must have implicit trust.
Have I implicit trust?
I have never known anyone whose trust was so implicit.
Very well.
Thank you, sir. Your trust in Mercury International, very gratifying.
I'm sure it is.
In that case, hand me your wallet.
My wallet?
Go on, we cannot see it. We are watching.
I certainly am watching.
Very well.
Oh, very nice wallet. You know what inside?
Oh, but of course I do.
Money? Very incompetent at magic. Need more help. A lady, beautiful and beyond reproach. Perhaps Senorita Delici?
With pleasure.
Thank you, Senorina. Please take envelope. Now, I put wallet in envelope. Please close firmly. Now hold very tight, Senorina. You in charge of wallet. No one can touch without your knowing. Senor, how much money in that wallet?
Well, I don't know exactly.
American dollars in there?
Oh, perhaps a few.
You not know? You not count? Oh, you're very careless.
Well, there's not very much.
That wallet contained $5,000.
$5,000.
Senorina, please open envelope. Please take out wallet. Please count.
It is $5,000.
All in order, Senor Bilbo? All safe?
All very safe. Very good. Very good.
Senorina, please look in envelope.
Oh.
How did you do that trick?
The dove?
Not the money.
No trick. Business, Mr. Souza. Don't worry.
Hey, you! Hey there, one of you.
What you want?
Would it be too much to ask for some breakfast or coffee?
It would.
Sure your boss doesn't want me to starve to death.
All right. I'll get you something.
You're very kind.
No news.
Must find Mr. Lando. Last meeting of committee today. Time run out for Mercury International.
I've telephoned every police post in the district. No one has seen him.
Cannot vanish into thin air.
It's a desolate part of the country, Chin. Backward and primitive. A man could be hidden in some mountain cottage for weeks before he was found.
Mr. Landel not got weeks. He got only few hours. Try more telephone call, please.
Allow me.
Don't bother.
Well, that looks delicious. If you ever decide to leave this idyllic life and go cook in the city, I'll be glad of first refusal of your services.
We're wasting our time, Chin. Souza has him locked up somewhere. If only we could prove it.
We must do something, Senor Mateo.
Tell me what?
How much more time?
I don't see what difference it makes. Souza has him. He won't let him out till the meeting is over.
But Senor Mateo...
Oh, it was great. You want to take the tray away?
It can wait.
Cigarette?
I got my own.
I think you'll find that these are far more satisfactory.
Thanks. Now give me the key. Give me that key or I'll break your arm.
Take it.
Let go.
Let go.
Luigi, get out!
to arrive. Senor Dari, I was in the States a long time. I still apply business principles. Stay with the job.
I stay with the job too, Signor Torta. In that way, nothing goes on behind your back. What do you think of Mr. Randall's chances?
If he doesn't turn up, he doesn't stand any chance at all.
If he does?
Well, Matteo will vote for him. The Ricci may. The general's considering it. And maybe Bilbo.
That just leaves you.
Randall, when did you get back?
I just did. But it looks as if I'm wasting my time. Signor Torta is still against the project. No matter how the others vote, this man won't change his mind.
Who says so?
I do. You're the stubborn kind.
You reckon?
Oh, I'm sure. In fact, I'm willing to bet on it.
You wish to bet?
Small bet.
Done. Name it.
Okay. Even $5,000.
$5,000? I thought you said a small bet.
Is it too much for you, Signor Torta? Do you want to chicken out?
No. You mean you wish to bet me $5,000 that I will not change my vote?
That's the bet. Do you want to back out?
I never back out.
You hear that, Signor Dali? $5,000 that he doesn't change his vote. Would you care to hold the stakes?
Very well.
I don't carry that amount of cash. It'll only be a few minutes.
I think you were wrong, Mr. Randall.
You do?
I think he will change his vote. I think the entire committee will be in your favor.
Tell me, Signor Dali, are you a betting man?
Not usually.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll take a chance. I will offer you an even $5,000 that this project of mine doesn't go through.
And I'll take your bet, Mr. Randall.
I think that we ought to keep this little bet of ours pretty secret. I wouldn't like people to know that I was laying money against Mercury International.
I quite understand. I won't say a word.
Mr. Randall. We have just heard you were here. So glad you could come.
We missed you at the reception.
My apologies. I was unavoidably detained.
Bill, what happened?
I'll tell you later.
Please be seated, gentlemen. Mr. Randall, will you sit here, please? Count Di Ricci on his left and Matteo at the bottom. Signor Dali, will you take the second chair down, please? And Signor Bilbo at the bottom. Well, gentlemen, we all know why this meeting has been called. Today is our last chance to accept the most generous offer that has been made to us by the Dollars for Europe Development Trust.
Well, I'm glad you see it that way, General. The benefits to your district will be enormous.
Well, don't let us beat about the bush, gentlemen.
I agree. We are here to vote on a simple matter, whether to accept the trust's offer. All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, and myself 4. 4? 4?
We should be 5. I'm voting in favor.
You have not voted, Matteo.
Put up your hand, Matteo.
You're 5.
What's wrong with you, Matteo? You're always in favor of this scheme. What's the matter with you?
You cannot change now. Everyone knows you are Mr. Randall's friend.
Now, that's it. That's it. What are you going to think when I vote in his favor? You won't think I did this out of conviction or principle. You'll think I did it because I'm getting something out of it.
No.
No associate of mine could be suspected of such vulgar behavior.
Now, what did you say just now? I am his friend. You expect me to vote for this scheme because of that. Well, on that basis, I can't do it. I'm the one person here who is not above suspicion. I'm the one person here who Signor Dali could blacken in his report.
Well, if you put it that way...
There you are, you see. I'm sorry, Bill, I can't do it. I can't vote for it. I'm sorry.
Mr. Randall, can't you go after him?
I will not put pressure on my friend.
But your scheme, it won't go through. Somebody must do something.
Well, why not you, Signor Dali?
I'll do my poor best.
Is it all over? Is it fixed?
It certainly is not.
May I use your telephone? I should like to call Mercury International in London.
Please.
Yes, Rita.
Excuse me?
Meeting over?
Yes.
Mr. Randall win the others round?
Yes.
We won. Pack up very quickly and back to London.
We haven't won.
Signor Matteo.
I have not accepted any bribe.
Oh, you don't understand. I'm concerned only about one thing. Your committee must accept.
What? Why?
Well, you see, it...
The latest trick. $5,000.
Did Bill Randall give you these?
Signor Matteo, it isn't quite what you're thinking.
Not quite. I'll bet it's near enough. Hey, come on!
Hello, Susie. Bill here.
Hello, Bill. It's good to hear your voice. Today's the day, isn't it? How are you getting on?
We didn't make it. We got 4 votes, but we lost Mateo in the process.
Oh, dear, I'm sorry.
It's going to be quite a loss for Mercury International, Susie.
It's all right. It's not your fault.
Look, Susie, do you know where Carlos is? I'd like you to get in touch with him.
Lagos. I'm expecting a call from him any moment.
Well, tell him that as a junior partner, I can't even give money away, and I'd like to resign.
Oh, don't be so ridiculous. Just a moment. Hello, Mercury International.
I have a long-distance call for you from Lagos, Nigeria. Will you hold on, please?
Yes, I'll hold.
To inscribed 2300 BC by an artisan named Narmorsa. 3,000 years later. Hello?
Hello, Mr. Varela. You sound very far away. I know Lagos is very far away. Can you hear me? I have some bad news for you.
But tell him I realize that in a business like this, it's not friendship, but results that count.
Gentlemen.
And I... Hold it, Susie.
I wish permission to change my vote.
Change it in favor of the scheme?
If I may.
That makes a unanimous committee, gentlemen.
Did you hear that, Mr. Rand?
Hey, did you hear that, Susie? It's unanimous. No, not against us, for us. And forget what I said. I don't want to resign.
Mr. Varela, he doesn't want to resign.
Oh, that's better.
I have assured Senor Mateo he's above suspicion.
Mateo is above suspicion.
Mateo is above suspicion.
Good. In the face of such a magnificent project, what does my reputation matter?
He says, what does his reputation matter?
He says, what does his reputation matter?
And we've all got government approval.
And we've all got government approval. I'm so excited. I love you.
Hey, you mean me, don't you?
I'm sorry, Mr. Varela.
I'll call you right back.
No, yes.
She loves me.
I don't know.
Operator, look, could you reconnect me with my call in London, please? It's very urgent. I've got a very important partnership to propose. Well, she loves me. I think I'm engaged.